this one's working fine. Finally, okay. Holy crap. Do. Alright. I don't know. It's fine now? Alright, perfect. Alright, sorry for the delay, everybody. I'm just gonna switch straight up. And alright. Hello, OUTOFORDER. Say hi to the stream.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Okay. I'm sorry for the delay. I don't know.
Oh, it's fine.
Started acting up for no reason. And alright.
Oh yeah, it happens. I have issues with OBS sometimes too.
Alright, so now we're here. I'm just gonna work it out. Perfect.
Alright.
Thank you for everybody for bearing with me. And yeah. Alright, so I guess let's get started. We're already 10 minutes late. So if you've watched the podcast, as you said, you'll obviously know that there's one question that is the first question, which I ask every single person that comes onto the podcast, and that is the story of how and when you started editing.
So I started using Vegas as the first program I started editing in, and it was like a long time ago. I'd say like maybe 7 years ago. I watched it was FaZe Illcams. I'm not sure if you remember, but the trick shotting montages by FaZe back then were like a huge, like, I always thought they were so cool and I always wanted to recreate them. So I would just like, hit some clips, and they were clips on bots. They were nothing too crazy, I didn't know about like anything. I didn't know about anything advanced, I would just hit some clips on bots, and then I would put it into Vegas, and then I would just like spam effects, and the edits were quite terrible, honestly, but it was fun and I really enjoyed doing it. And then eventually over time I just started expanding out into other types of editing. Like then after that, then I started editing like CS, and then eventually I started editing other games, and then I got into more like frag editing, like MVM editing, like BO2, MW3, stuff like that. And then I just fell in love with editing.
All right. So this was when exactly?
I was probably about maybe 12 or 13. So like about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when like FaZe Illcams was like, when it was pretty popular back then.
Okay. So now you actually have this series that is pretty famous on your channel, which is parodying basically other editors.
Yeah.
And I love the series personally, but this is kind of more like content, not edits, but it's more content. Do you like myself as an editor? Even though I'm an editor, I believe that growing on YouTube is not possible without content.
Yeah.
So do you think the part like why you've grown a lot, like you have 13,000 right now? I'm not sure.
I think 12,000 right now.
So is that the reason of your massive growth? Is it because you started doing content too, or what is it basically?
I think most of my growth came from tutorials, because I feel like tutorials, like most people, they're not gonna search up like edits and stuff unless you're like a really good editor and like an insane editor who's like mastered the craft of editing. I feel like most people aren't gonna really find you except from like word of mouth, because in the editing community that like I'm in, like the frag editing, it's like a really small community, and I feel like a majority of the people in that community know each other. And like my edits, they're nothing like, I haven't mastered editing. I'm no professional at editing. I'm pretty much an amateur, but like, for me, I feel like, the content editing's fun and all, but I feel like the main growth was from the tutorials, because, helping other people, help content as a whole, I feel like has a really big place on YouTube.
All right.
And yeah.
Okay, actually, I wanted to give a little shout out to Admiral Pheonix. If you see him in the chat right now, he's the person who made the thumbnail, and he's a big fan of yours.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was freaking out when I told him you were gonna come on. So, all right. Another question that I almost ask everybody, because this is something that almost everybody suffers from, is motivation, and a lot of people lose motivation with editing, especially the people who do it for fun. Especially the people who do it for as a job, I guess. Those people, when they lose motivation, when they don't want to do anything. So what motivates you to edit still? Like you said, it's 2013-14. Like you've been editing for 6 to 7 years, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a long time. How do you still find motivation to edit?
So what motivates me is honestly, I guess, just like hearing the feedback from others. Other people will let you know, or they let me know. They'll be like, you're improving so much. You're constantly improving, and it's just like, I find happiness in like knowing that like I'm actually improving and like I'm working on a certain craft. Because I see editing as like an art form. And like I just want to like get as best, not the best at it, but I just want to get better at it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So basically reactions, which is what almost I guess what Enigma said too, people's reactions.
Yeah.
All right. So have you ever so you mostly edit BO2 and I don't know exactly. Do you edit CS:GO?
Yeah, I edit CS:GO occasionally.
So have you ever tried your hand at Fortnite?
I've tried editing Fortnite, and honestly, I don't really enjoy Fortnite editing that much at all. If I'm being quite honest, I really love BO2 and MW3 and CS. I feel like there's so many more options, and there's so much more stuff you can do with it.
Okay, if you guys can hear background noise, I'm sorry. It's just a Sunday. Everybody's roaming outside. But either way, so there's this. I'm pretty sure there's this rivalry between editing communities. Some think that this Fortnite community is bad, and anybody who edits Fortnite is a bad editor. And I mean, some are pretty reasonable, being saying that Fortnite's a new community and that's why it's still growing. What are your thoughts on like that?
See, I don't really have anything against Fortnite. I think it's an okay game. It's just me personally, I don't enjoy editing it. I just don't find Fortnite editing fun. But I think the main thing is, I think the reason why so many editors in like the frag community, I feel like the reason they don't like Fortnite is, what I see it lands in like an uncanny valley. It's kind of like it's really hard to explain. It's almost like music too. I feel like music has like a very similar sort of, I feel like music and film and like editing are like their own, they're pretty similar, but they're also pretty different. It's like, it's like there's the real, like there's people that pour their heart and soul into like their music and stuff. Like there's people that like, they express their true emotion and stuff. And then there's other, there's like swag rappers that just, I feel like it's kind of the same here with editing. I feel like with like the frag editing, you got more, people are more able to express their creativity. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some creative Fortnite edits, but like the frag community, I feel like the reason why there's like a rivalry between them is because when the frag community, you're able to, people, they don't like edit, like for example, like music again. So people in the frag community, they edit to like, like some abstract stuff, they'll edit to like abstract songs, and like most of the Fortnite edits are, they're just like, it's almost like they're not hungry for views or anything, but it's almost like they're editing just because like, just to make it somewhere, because like, for example, people, there's like a lot of like, like sicko mode Fortnite montages, and most of them are pretty much all the same. And I feel like frag editors have been doing stuff that Fortnite editors have been doing for a long time, and it's like, it's kind of like, it's almost free exposure from Fortnite editing. And I feel like the frag community, just doesn't really like that,
Okay, so Yeah, I mean that's basically the whole point. The COD and CS communities are way more experienced and way more older. So now, what the
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite community is doing right now, the COD and CS communities have already done years ago, and which is
Yeah.
maybe why it feels that the COD community is overall a better editing community. But to be honest, you're right. I started in 2019 editing Fortnite, and that was like the first thing I edited. And editing was just something I enjoyed generally, so I kept doing it. And right now, I'm trying my first time at Valorant, and even though I'm finding a lot of troubles doing it because there's the velocity and the pan crop and everything is completely different with how you do it in Fortnite. But I'm still enjoying Valorant a lot more than I was Fortnite, and maybe it's because I've been editing this for like 2-3 years, but still Valorant is really a new game, and I like that new feel you get when you do something new.
Yeah.
Alright, so moving on, what are you still in school or college or something?
No, I graduated with a GED, but I'm not. I took like half a semester of community college, and then that was it. Really, nothing.
Right,
I'm
so
not really doing anything right now. Yeah.
are you doing a job, anything?
Nah, I don't work or anything. I'm pretty much. I want to be a full-time content creator slash like editor, but like I'm not really close to being full-time. Like right now it's kind of just like a part-time thing. Like most of the time I'll just be at home, watching edits or streaming or playing a video game, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So and are you working with any sort of organization for any kind of work?
No, I'm not partnered with any organization. I don't work for any like organizations, nothing like that. No teams or anything.
Okay. So are you working on any big project? Like this is any kind of teaser you can give, anything you're working on right now, or even in planning?
I'm planning on doing a CS:GO, but because I have a song that I really like that I was editing to, but I'm probably gonna scrap it. Honestly, I didn't really get far on it at all. I only got like maybe I got like 2 frags edited of it. But I'll probably switch it over from CS:GO to MW3. I just finished probably my biggest project. I just finished my biggest editing project yesterday, so that was probably it.
Okay. So have you ever worked with 3D? Wait,
Oh, you're muted on Discord, by the way.
What? I don't know why that happens. Okay. What I'm saying is, have you ever tried your hand at 3D?
Yeah, I've experimented with Octane, Redshift, Cinema 4D. Before I got like really into editing, the main thing I did was like I was an intro template maker. So like this was years ago. I was like 14, but I made intro templates in Cinema 4D. So I've been using 3D for a while, but yeah, recently I tried to get into Octane and Redshift and stuff like that.
Okay. So is there any like 3D software that you used in specific, or were there like
Yeah, Cinema 4D. Yeah, that's the one I mainly use.
Okay. Is that the easiest in your opinion? Like, did you try your hand at a few and then settled on Cinema 4D, or is it just the first thing you opened?
It was actually the first thing I opened, and I never really tried any other 3D programs.
Okay, well, I usually have this debate with people who's tried 3D, but yeah, I was also like the first program I opened with Cinema 4D, but then I don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, so I could not use Octane or any sort of good renderer, and then I had to switch to Blender for cycles. But I don't feel Blender is as easy as Cinema 4D is, at least for myself. So. Next up, have you ever experienced a creative block?
Yeah, for a while, like I'd say maybe last year I was super demotivated. It was mainly because people would just like roast my edits, like I consider myself a very sensitive person. I don't really, I'm not the type of guy to just like, get into beef with people because I'm sensitive. So like, people would be like roasting my edits and stuff, and it was super demotivating me. Like I didn't have any motivation, but eventually, my friends all convinced me to just keep pushing forward, like on my edits and stuff, and so I was able to push forward. And yeah, I released last year. It was the biggest editing project I had last year was Let 'Em Bleed, but yeah, that one my friends had to like try really hard to convince me to finish it, and I eventually did finish it. So yeah.
Alright. So if this is something because myself and most of my audience are new editors because I started, as I said, in 2019, and most of my friends and other people followed. So basically, I run an editing community by the name of Astral, and it has about 1,800 members. And it's working. It's going pretty well, but most of the people come from the server there, and the server is owned by me and a friend, and basically everybody there started editing in 2019 or later. So that's why most of my audience is new editors. So if there was a new editor that came to you for any sort of advice, he's like, I'm starting editing, I need any advice you can give me, something you wish you knew when you started editing, what would you say?
Well, I do get DMs of like new editors asking me like, where do I start? And I tell them to just start with like, simple edits, like, download some clips, you don't need to record your own. I know some people are harsh on that. Some people will be like, oh, you got to record your own demos, your own frags and stuff. But like, I just say to like find some clips you enjoy, just find a really good song you like, and then just like slap them together and see what you can do, Like there's no rush to jump into like any crazy stuff, most people crawl before they walk, so like, you don't need to jump into like Octane right away or something like that,
Okay. So do you see editing as a valid career option since you've graduated now and you obviously you already chose, I guess you must have already chosen your career path, but if it was up to you, or like still if you could still choose, would you see editing as a valid option? And if you do, does that include video game edits or not?
Yeah, 100%. I really want to do editing like as a career. I want to be like an editing teacher at like a high school or something. And because I've seen like what people some people are just they have such brilliant minds, and it's like editing is like it is truly an art form. It's just as much as an art form as like music is. And like I feel like editing, for me at least. It's probably going to take a long time before I'll be able to get to that point where like I can edit full time. But yeah, for sure, I 100% want it to be like my career.
Okay, so it doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem that you work a lot with clients. Is there any specific reason for that?
Well, I don't really get clients much at all, really. And plus, most of the clients I do get are usually they're usually the people that like they're not like too into like they don't really understand editing as like a career. Most people that DM me for client work, they just want it for free. They'll ask me, hey, can you join our team and edit for us for free? Stuff like that. That's like a majority of the messages I get. I don't really get people offering to pay, and when I do, I usually just decline because I just feel like I don't know. I just personally don't find client work really fun to edit. I'd much rather work on like a personal project than a client work project. All
right. So I have a friend, and he's working for someone. I'm not gonna say names. But that he says that he feels that the client limits him a lot, like from doing a lot. He's like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, and he says that he feels that it's blocking him from improving as an editor. Since you don't work with clients too much yourself, I thought that you might have a similar reason. But do you think that actually puts like an improvement barrier to your work if your clients are limiting you a lot?
Well, I feel like I feel like it's a challenge when they limit you, but I don't think it's like a good challenge, you know? Like, yeah, you can work around it, you know, you can think outside of the box and try and do something that they'd enjoy. But, you know, a majority of the time they want to be able to like see the clips, you know. They want to be able to see what's going on, you know. They don't like these like most of the time, you know. There are some clients, I've had some that are like really cool and like they really love, you know, the art of editing, but like most of the time they want to see the clips. So like if you do like anything too abstract, it might like scare them off. Not scare them off, but like, you know, they might not enjoy it as much.
Mm-hmm. So does it put an improvement barrier though?
I feel like maybe you can improve, but you know, I don't have much experience with like this topic because like I said, I don't really edit client work like really at all.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, that is that. Okay. What do you? So this is something that is also something I asked a lot of people because there's this some questions that I want every opinion I can get on, and this is one of them. What matters most in an edit? Flow, execution, creativity, pan crop. What is, in your opinion, the most deciding factor of an edit, which makes you like look at it with, you know, if it's a good edit or is a bad edit? Because this is pretty controversial.
I
A lot
think
of people